Hey
guys, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. It's interesting being in this room.
In the house.
Very interesting
in the
what
room
way?
where it happened.
Yeah. So I guess the first point is I'm sure everyone's going to talk to you about the sound design of the movie. It's such a huge part of it. But there's also the podcasting element. And you have to create like a podcast dynamic. And I feel like there's a lot of podcasts out there that have great sound design. So was there anything that you looked at specifically when you were coming up with the idea of how the podcast dynamic should be for the film?
Well, number one would be the banter between the co-hosts. There has to be I guess like they have to be antithesis. There has to be an antithesis between the two, just so that you can have that back and forth and the debate. And then I heard that a lot in sports podcasts, especially when they have like a Habs fan and a Leafs fan.
Yeah.
And then the banter and then the jabs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Sometimes
Nina and Adam worked that out.
Sometimes I feel like with sports podcasts, like they'll just argue another point just so it's interesting.
Yeah.
You watch like the basketball.
Yeah. Who's
panel? Like who's the GOAT?
Yeah. Who's the GOAT? LeBron or Jordan?
We ran into that too. Just like.
Yeah, we have like if you bring two people with two, it's just like automatic content. Like, I have this opinion on everything, and you have this opinion on everything, so we bring a thing, and now there's a conversation that happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the production aspect, I did an interview one time on a podcast, and then they said, just, we'll talk on the phone, I'll record mine, and you record yours, and you send me your recording, and I'll edit it. So I use the same format for Evie and Justin, and I used to do scripted podcasts, just me reading a story I wrote, and I licensed Wu-Tang Clan music from one of their producers, so it was like a gangster sci-fi martial arts story that I wrote, and then there's I had that mic. And I did it. I recorded in the washroom, in the basement, with noise canceling squares everywhere. So I was familiar with the quality of sound that you hear when you're like, because I could hear myself. I was at CBCQ, and they have the best podcast system, sound system, because I was listening to myself, and immediately you just start speaking lower. Like
that's
ASMR.
What happened to me when I was recording upstairs. I noticed, even watching it back, my voice was lower than I would normally.
Was just going lower, and then it turns into ASMR thing, and I was even giving myself chills. So I was
self-soothing,
self-stimulating, self-soothing.
Do you hear something?
Welcome to the Undertone podcast, where we talk about all things creepy. I'm your in-house skeptic, Evie Babbage, and my believer co-host says he has a real treat for us today.
We're listening to 10 mysterious audio recordings from an anonymous email.
Are you implying there's hidden messages in it?
Let me play it back in reverse.
Play the next one. Let's find out.
What is that? Where is that coming from?
Adam, it's such an interesting dynamic that you two have, because I feel like you're the believer in this situation, but I would want to listen to this podcast because even though you're the believer in this scenario, you're not like way over the top, like super enthusiastic. I feel like for a believer in this sort of thing, you're pretty chill about it, and I think it's a testament to what you're doing that it would make me want to listen to the podcast because it's obviously some frightening stuff going on, but you bring like a really good energy to it, and I think you two vibe well off of each other. So I was like wondering, how do you come up with a character that's sort of like a believer in this sort of thing, but keep them a little bit grounded?
Yeah, I always try to approach characters from a grounded place. You know, if I'm doing a comedy, I try to play it like a drama almost, or if I'm doing a drama, I try to find comedic moments as well. So playing a believer, you have to balance that out with, you know, no one's 100% one thing. So moments of like, you know, you're still a realist, or you can have moments of being a skeptic, just as you're a skeptic, but you start to believe as well. So, you know, just finding that balance. Yeah. Everyone has balance within.
And you had the idea too to give that ASMR quality to it, because right now a lot.
The last second, just before we started recording, I was like, wait, an idea last night.
Yeah, and then you validated it by saying a lot of your friends,
I had a friend
who would fall asleep to.
Yeah, I had a friend.
Podcast.
Yeah, I had a friend.
And I remember Vilma Castaneda, who's the exec at 824 The Pod. She said the same thing, and then I realized, oh, so that's a thing. Okay, go ahead.
People fall asleep listening to horror podcasts. It blew my mind when my friend told me that, and she said there was an ASMR quality to it, so I tried to focus on that as well. And then we talked about our dynamic.
Yeah, he brings a lot of levity to the movie because it's so intense, and like I feel like we're so intense, and that's why I like doing interviews with Adam, because you bring like a lightness, and I think that was really needed, and we didn't realize how needed it was until Adam came on. Yeah. And that's why I was like, he's perfect for this role, because he has this lightness to him, which I think
that's why Dan was up there. So it's the light room.
Yeah, exactly.
Dan has
I'm there too deep.
We're just too intense. Like we'll just go into like a
too heavy, and so that was a balance.
Yeah, I think it was a really good balance.
Let me play it back louder. Yeah, there. Did you hear that?
I did. What was that?
I don't know. I'm gonna play it louder. Oh my, you heard that, right? Tell me you heard that.
Yes.
Good.
What's it saying?
Yeah, I can't really make it out.
I mean, it could be an artifact, an overlap of a previous recording.
I don't know. I wonder if they noticed it when they played it back.
Play the next one.
Okay, here we go.
Jessa. Babe, are you alright?
Why are you looking at me like that?
What is happening?
And Nina, for you, the whole movie is basically you mostly alone in a house, obviously, except for the scenes where you're opposite Michelle. But how do you tune out the fact that you're on a film set and you have to play this thing where you have to be alone? But I think we all know on a film set there's always people around you, and you kind of have to block that sort of thing out. So what's it like getting into that headspace and sort of blocking out all of the noise that's going on around you on a film set?
I didn't tune it out. Everyone was a part of the performance in a way, because there's such a small amount of people. I had such a good time making it. It was just like really good energy, and the movie has such dark themes that I'm like, I can't be dark and then also go and be dark again. I think I got all my energy from everybody, and from feeling really safe in this environment, and then being able to go there. Sometimes the headphones really helped to just like block out everything else, but for the most part I made the decision in the beginning, like I know who Evie is like so deeply that I can go back to that to ground myself when I need to, so I don't need to also like pretend that there's no one here with me, because that's just, I don't want to do that. Like I want to be able to connect with people, I want to be able to talk and chat and like take in everyone's energy and bring it into my performance. Because it's already so isolating. I don't need to isolate myself outside of when we're pressing record.
You also said you look at remember.
I would, yeah. I'd make eye contact. Like Dane or Sound, he's like standing there, and I'd be like at the desk, and I'm just like, and he's like, "Am I on your island?" I'm like, "No, I'm just looking at you." I don't know. I think it's like when people do performances in theaters, and you can feel how the performance changes based on the audience. And I think when you can like sense that everyone is there to help you and wants this to be the best version, and it feels safe, I want to incorporate that energy because it's a part of me. I can't deny that it's not there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally. And the last thing that I want to ask you guys is, you have a great line in the film, Adam. It's kind of the sign-off for the podcast, which is, don't fear the dark, fear the silence. And I was wondering for you guys, I feel like people have such a, love it or hate it reaction to both, like a lot of noise or silence. Where do you guys thrive more? Silence or in some sort of environment where there's some kind of noise?
Well, for me, it depends on my state of mind. There were times where I didn't want to go home because I didn't want to lie in bed and try and fall asleep because there was so much on my mind that I knew I would just ruminate. But thankfully, I'm in a place where I can just sleep now. So it's like, it depends on the state of mind. But yeah, be afraid of the silence. Yeah, that it is. Silence is scary when you do have things in your head that you don't want to think about.
I like silence, but a low volume white noise. It's like not, just like a little something there.
I guess it does depend on your state of mind, because there is a time when, like I told you before, that if this movie happened even a couple years before, I was in such a bad state of mind mentally, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yeah, I remember.
And now I'm like, yeah, maybe my answer also depends. I think that's a great answer. It depends on like where you're at and what you can handle, because there have been times when I cannot handle, and I would have been way too not well to take on everything that, darkness.
Yeah.
And then I remember you were like, "Are you scared?" I'm like, "No, because I've been to way darker places, and now I feel like I can do that."
We should stop listening.
What is this?
What if we unleashed something?
You shouldn't have called out to her. It's what she wants.